We try to make sense of the madness. A quick recap of what happened.
A gunman acting alone, and tonight we are no longer naming him or showing his picture. If you wish to see those things, it's online. But we believe the victims deserve the attention tonight. Nearly 60 people were killed, a gong sounding for each of them tonight at a vigil in Las Vegas. More than 500 people also hurt, all of them at the Route 91 festival along the Las Vegas Strip. The shooter firing from the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay Hotel and Casino, and you can see from this map right here, the casino has a clear sight line to that concert.
We have team coverage for you tonight. ABC 15's Lexi Suter hearing the incredible, emotional stories of Valley survivors. But first, let's get to Steve Irvin anchoring our coverage from Las Vegas. Steve?
And Faye and Stephanie, this is America's playground, but tonight it is also ground zero for yet another national tragedy and yet another mass shooting. So many people who live here, who work here, who just come to visit here, came to this very spot tonight to gaze out onto that crime scene, wondering why and when will it stop. Up and down the Vegas Strip, dozens came just to catch a glimpse of history. The marquees, usually advertising shows or restaurants, were instead showing ways to help. Fernando Ochoa grew up in Arizona and moved here just 4 months ago. Seems like these things happen just about everywhere.
They're happening all too often. My wife and I have 3 children. I have one serving our country in the United States Navy. So it really hits home.
For others, it was yet another national tragedy which hit too close to home. Scott Hilliard came here from New York and said it was the pain, so much pain, which reminded him of 9/11.
It was like unbelievable, just like seeing the hurt last night, all the people that got hurt.
For so many people, it reminded them of a war zone. In fact, that's often how this was described, just the carnage and the melee that took place last night. And we know Las Vegas is a close destination for so many Arizonans, a favorite place where so many people like to go. And we know that several Arizona connections there are tonight to this, including a couple of members of our DPS family who were hurt in all of this. A trooper struck several times in the back of the arm. Another employee hurting their hand. We're told, thankfully, both of them will be okay. There were 4 Mesa police officers also at this concert. One of them hit, but we're told they are going to pull through. The outlook is much worse for the wife of an off-duty Salt River police officer. She, we are told, is on life support tonight. A GoFundMe account has now been set up for Officer Francisco Calzadias and his wife, Giovanna. Lexi Suter is now joining us live. Lexi, I know you've been able to talk to some of the people who were at that concert and some amazing survival stories tonight.
Yeah, Steve, that's right. I sat down with 3 20-year-olds who were there. They tell me it was the 3rd song of Jason Aldean, the final performance of that festival, when they started hearing a lot of popping. But it wasn't until the stage went completely dark that they realized something was so wrong.
I knew it was people were dying when I saw a girl. She was covered in blood.
24 hours ago, Tristan, Ashley, and Callie were running for their lives.
As soon as they would start, we would just find coverage anywhere we could, and then we would keep running as they stopped. We didn't know if we were going to get hit in the back the entire time we were running.
That's why the first thing I did was call all my family members.
The first call to his mom.
And as a mother, never to get a phone call like that and hearing, you just know he's running, and he just keeps screaming stuff, and I don't want to die, and I love you. And
Tamara Hankins was home in Phoenix, hearing the horror unfold through the phone.
It just seemed unreal, and you feel just absolutely helpless, not being able to get to him.
At 10 o'clock, thousands of people were just enjoying a show. By 10:10, hundreds would never walk out. These 3 still not sure how they got so lucky.
Yeah. It's still not real. Really.
No, it just seemed like a nightmare, like we were living a real-life nightmare.
And understandably, they tell me they are changed forever by this tragedy. They said the 3 of them plan to try to go give blood tomorrow, and now that's something officials in Las Vegas saying that we all can do, even from the Valley, to help out during this horrible time. Steve?
Yeah, I think everybody wants to help. Thanks so much, Lexi. Meantime, the focus now shifting on the investigation itself. The gunman, a 64-year-old, taking his own life, even as officers were bearing down on him and escaping the justice and punishment that he really deserved here. The man lived, we know, in a Nevada retirement community in Mesquite, about 80 miles to the south of here. We're told he was a multi-millionaire real estate investor who actually spent part of his childhood in Tucson. He was the son of a man who was arrested in Las Vegas more than a half-century ago for robbing a bank in Phoenix. But this gunman was never on the police radar. Police said they had very few, if any, contacts with him. His own family saying they're as stunned as the rest of the world.
He's never, he's never even drawn his gun. It makes no sense. He's never hit anybody. He's never...
Gun enthusiast or just...
Never.
ISIS has tried to claim responsibility for this attack, but the FBI saying the evidence just doesn't back that up. In fact, searches of the hotel room and the gunman's home showed an arsenal of guns, but they believe he acted alone, and they've even checked out his girlfriend, who is apparently out of the country at the moment. A look tonight from the Arizona State Capitol. Meantime, flags at half-staff at all state office buildings. Governor Ducey keeping them that way until sunset on Friday. President Trump also making a national declaration. And meantime, still much more to come here from Las Vegas, including how you can help. And a touching tribute tonight from the country music community in Nashville, from some of the music industry's biggest stars, and how some other local venues are really trying to beef up their security. If anything, perhaps this is a wake-up call for so many, especially when you have these large gatherings of people and the safety and security of everyone is at stake. Faye and Stephanie?
Steve, thank you. Meantime,